I have no idea how well this is going to work. Check me out in my PJs though. And I need to fix something over here. You guys don't care about how much battery life I got, I guess. But well, hell, maybe you do. This button. I press buttons and button-tastic things happen. And I'm on the thingy thing. I see me here. Let me turn this up. Maybe you do. This button. I press buttons. So I think you can hear me fine. And I'm on the thingy thing. I see me here. Let me turn this up. Maybe you do. This button. I press buttons. So I think you can hear me fine. I'm going to assume you can hear fine. I can see, I can adjust the levels. I figured that out. I did this for Brian, by the way, because he was complaining that I was hard to hear. So I'm hoping this helps quite a bit. We'll see. Yeah, that'll be a lot better. I'm not trying to make it crazy loud though. But we'll see. I'm gonna turn this down. What? I don't also, well, I also do not know. I'm trying something different. I don't think you guys can kind of see my little streaming rig here. Here, I'll turn the camera real quick. I'll go through this real quick because it's nerd stuff, right? We're nerd stuffing. Nerd stuffing. Not to be stuffing nerds. I mean, I guess if you want to stuff a nerd, but make sure you do it and have consent. But do it safely. So this is my streaming setup. I got this cart from Stuart Mullen. Stuart Mullen's down in Kentucky, I think. Yeah, I think he's in Kentucky. Pretty sure he's in Kentucky. He might. Yeah, no, I've been there twice now. I should know. So Stuart had a ridiculous number. These are old, like, medical carts that they would put their computers and such on so they could cart her into an office. And I got one over there for a different purpose. I'd originally grabbed these because I thought I would use them for something else. And then one day I was like, man, this would be a perfect little cart to set up my streaming crap on. So I can move this monitor around and stuff. And I got a little monitor mounted here, connected up to my streaming switch. So one of the things for the streams that I've been doing, one of my biggest problems has always been cords everywhere. In some cases, that's going to be unavoidable, right? I got to have some kind of power, and I got an idea for that, but I just don't know if I really want to spend that much money on it. So, but if I can eliminate as much cordage as possible and maybe get it down to like one or just two, that would be great. Because the cameras do have to plug into this. Now, you can get HDMI wireless transmitter and receivers, but they're pricey. I think the DJI ones are around $300 to $500. I forget it, but they're pricey. Now, once you have, I believe one receiver can accept multiple transmissions. So then you would only need to get additional transmitters. What it does is this connects to my Wi-Fi, and it's got an Ethernet port, because this is not wireless, but it's got a little Ethernet port, and I can plug this into that, basically making this a wireless unit. So before, I used to have a really long Ethernet cable. No matter where it would be in the shop, there would be a big long cable strung out across the shop floor, and that's dangerous. Don't want that. So I want to narrow this down. Now when there's a tripod with a camera, it's still a cord, right? But it's a little bit more obvious that, hey, you know, there's a cord there or whatever. So that's where I'm at. So I got this. This is going into this little Wi-Fi doodad. So I'm not sure how well this is going to work. This is the first time I've used this thing. I just got it. They were like 20 bucks. So I figured, what the hell, worth 20 bucks to try it. The other thing is I used to have, now I've had this setup for going for a while, but I used to set this display up on my big TV in the back there. But there's no need for that. I could see better right here, honestly. That's for me to watch stuff on, not for you guys. So this allows me to see what's going on with this, and I can do different views here. I don't know, I've noticed this stream light right here has changed a couple of times. It's gone to red to yellow to red to yellow. I don't know which one is good. I don't know. So you guys will have to let me know if things are coming across okay, because I really don't know. This is my work phone. This is not, but I just got a message, so I need to. No, this is my actual phone. Where's my work phone? There it is. So let me pull up my Facebook. Crap. So anyways, nerding, right? This activity. I'll tell you what, Microsoft Teams, I don't like at all, and I like it even less on my phone. It's such a duty app. Microsoft, you've done some pretty decent things lately. Fix that doo-doo. Slack is kicking your ass all up and down the street. So back to my nerding stuff. I don't see anything in here. I'm going to, I've got a network cabinet that I need to put together. So let me come over here and check on something else. And close this crap. And I'm going to open up. I don't know how well you can hear me back here. So I'm going to open up the chat back here. Got to go. We're getting material. I said Brian. Oh, cool. Yeah, they've got a big thing going on in Oklahoma, Chelsea, Oklahoma. Let me talk about that in a minute, because I'm sure I'm going to screw this up anyways. How do you pop the damn chat out? I don't know. I'm not even going to bother with it. Doesn't matter. So, camera is there. I'm probably going to have to move this again. So, in Chelsea, Oklahoma, they are doing a grand opening for the blacksmith school at the Wacky Institute, which stands for, it's a long one, forgive me. Let me pull it up so I get it correct. Let's see, it is the oh hell, it's not here. It means stuff, guys. Just know that. I can't see it on my phone, sorry. Regardless, Brian Brazil and Ed Brazil and Josh Perkins will be on hand this weekend, Saturday. They've got a schedule posted. Check out Josh Perkins on Facebook. He's got a schedule there about the classes. I was hoping to be there this weekend, but it just did not work out for me. And it got doubly worse with the fuel prices being as they are. In a diesel, that's not cheap, let me just tell you. They're doing those classes. I believe they're doing some collaring and maybe trivets. But anyways, Brian just mentioned that they were receiving their material now. So they'll probably spend a good portion of the day getting the classroom, the forge set up and ready to go for the classes to start tomorrow. So I don't know what the walk-in etiquette is going to be for that. My guess would be that all are welcome. There is a fee for the class, $300-ish. I don't know the exact price. But I believe that there's some open forging as well. So even if you're not able to take the class, or you don't want to take the class, I would still encourage you to go if you're able to go. You can learn a lot just by watching what people are up to. And Brian's the kind of person will definitely be willing to show you things, maybe not pertaining to the class per se, but you know, he might be willing to come over and help you out with something, or just shoot the breeze with those guys. I think Ethan Rose is going to be there as well. He might already be there. I don't know. I wish I could be there, to be honest. I really do wish I could be there. It's just, that wasn't in the cards. We had some family things come up a couple weeks back, and then the tax man came a knocking, and well, let's just say when the tax man, see, it's yellow right now. I don't know what that means, but when the tax man came a knocking, Rob had to answer that door. So let's just say financially was not the best of times for me. So what I'm going to be doing is putting together this network cabinet, and here's a piece of it. This is, I believe this is the back end. So I don't know what this is. Some kind of overspray from something. Get that like done with my rag. Plus, I want to see how well you can see. I want to turn this camera a little bit more this way so it's a little bit more apparent. That way, I want to see how far I can go forward before it's really out of view. So I'll keep my crap over here somewhat out of view as best I can. And then this is the side, I think. Yeah, because it's got the rails. And then this is another side. I have never put one of these together before, so I'm going to assume a top and bottom, maybe a locking top and bottom. I have instructions around here somewhere. And a package of goodies. Cross members. Instruction manual. That might be handy. Okay, there's nothing else in here, but there should be somewhere. Leave it to me to lose these things. In one of these drawers, there should be some hardware like screws and such. It might be in the box. I need to double check. But while I'm standing here, I'll open these drawers and see what we can see. Okay, here's some more hardware for the cabinet. These are the actual mounting rails when you put your equipment in. So there's that. I'll put this over here. Let me check this box to see if screws are in there. So this thing, I mean, you could argue that it's unnecessary, but in my shop, floor space is becoming somewhat limited. It is not in this box of goodies, which means it's probably over there or on my desk over there. But I'll go through these drawers just to make sure. So the idea behind this, right, if you're not familiar, a lot of enterprise grade equipment is rack mountable. Or if you're a musician, you might even be familiar with some of this stuff. A lot of music gear is also rack mountable. In a 19-inch rack, things are specified in units. How many units? There's a 1U, which takes up one space in the rack. If you have a 12U rack, you can, in theory, put in 12 1U units, depending what they are. That be a wireless system if you're for musicians, or a compressor, things like that, EQ, or in case of this is specifically for networking. You can use it for whatever, but I bought it specifically for networking, so I'll put my networking gear in here. In the shop, I have a switch back over there. Two switches technically, but so I have a switch back over there and some other stuff. It's just kind of out in the open, willy-nilly, and is not well protected. It would not take much for a hot piece of steel or something land on a cord over there and completely kill all this stuff. Plus, I now have Starlink, and it's coming in through the garage door up here this way. It's coming in, it's sitting on my desk right now, but it's all going to go into this as well. So the way my home network is set up, Starlink comes in through the shop, or will. It comes in, it'll come in through the shop, and it'll go into a switch, and then from the switch here, it will go back to another switch inside my house, and that is isolated on its own specific network. So there's no traffic inside being other than the Starlink uplink, basically. Now, once it goes to the house, there's another switch port that goes into my main home network for the WAN port. That's your wide area network. That's where your internet comes in from. We also has Xfinity. That was our main internet for the longest time, and still will be, because we rely on our internet for work. So by having the two, right, and they're completely isolated, and that's another reason why I'm running it from the shop, not from the house, is they are completely isolated from one another, but it allows us to load balance or set up a failover situation. So if Xfinity dies, we would jump over to Starlink. However, Starlink is fast enough, and we get a really good view of the satellite, I guess. It's fast enough. I thought, well, I'm paying for it. Just use it. So I'm load balancing between the two. So there might be a little bit of a lag if we lose one, but nothing significant. It's yellow again, whatever that means. So I also want to point out these instructions. Is there another page here somewhere? Because I can faintly see. Okay. I was about to say, there's my instructions. Originally I thought it was just going to be just a picture, and I was like, well, okay, I can figure it out, but that's a little easier. So yeah, why this in the shop? I'm gonna mount this up in the ceiling, up against this back wall. It'll be the west wall of my shop, up above the ceiling, the rafters. There's a header up there, large enough, one, to support this. Not that it's going to weigh that much, but this is probably, I don't know, I'll say 30 pounds. Plus when the gear gets put in there, it'll probably weigh closer to 70 when everything's in there. And I made, specifically for this, some steel, let me go grab one. So I have this 1x3 steel tubing It's only about 1/8 inch, if that. It's fairly lightweight. You gotta be careful because I didn't deburr this back end. I need to do that still. But I also painted it. I figured if I'm gonna put it up there, I'll never see it again. So as you can see, I put a hole in here. The idea being is I can get my driver into this with an impact driver and then run my lag bolt, bolt this up against the wall, and then I'm only having to fight this way. Give me a chance to level it, and then once I've got it where I want it, lock it down, and then the other one will do the same thing. And then I've got these spots here, and I made it a point that I could get my hand in there and hold the screw. I don't know why I went all the way through, but I did. But that will allow me to hold the screw here and then put a washer and nut on it, and then this will slide down onto that. It's got these little eyelets, I guess you could call them. It's got these little. This thing came with a nice template, by the way, and it's relatively inexpensive. It was only, I don't know, 150 bucks. So 150 bucks for an enclosure that I can mount up in the ceiling of my shop that gets it out of the way, out of harm's way, and protects the gear inside of it from the elements in the shop. Now I'm going to do a few other things in here too. I'm going to eventually, you can see there's some vent slats up here, some for air. I'm going to look at putting some filters in here. Probably try to find something that'll fit in between here that I can just, if not, I'll 3D print some kind of thing that I can slip filters into. I don't know. I'm gonna see how it goes. The only thing I don't like about the filter idea is they're gonna have to get replaced. But it'll help keep a lot of the dust and grime and crap out of it. And I also need to 3D print some end caps for these, because if I don't, critters are going to try to live in there, and they absolutely will. So I'm going to put end caps on this. I'll 3D print some end caps for these. I'm going to do that whenever and then plop them on. The other thing I really considered, and I'm not going to do it, was putting a cable race behind this somewhere so that the cables could drop in here, and then I could have 3D printed a piece in between, because this would be every bit strong enough to hold this up. But I decided against that. It was way more work than it needed to be. So let's put this thing together. It's showing me step 1 is to take whatever those are. Oh, you know what? I haven't found my screws yet. Let me go look over here. What did I do with you? Now I could have swore I put them in the drawer over here. Which is not. Okay, I'm there. I already looked in here, I thought, but I'll just check one more time. This is, by the way, this right now this is classic Rob. Thinking I had something, putting it away, and completely forgetting where I put it. This is the ultimate classic Rob. This is one of the most classic moves I've got. I can't tell you how often I do this. It's I would say it's kind of embarrassing, but honestly, it's just life. I see them. I knew they were over here, but I just didn't know exactly where. I'd originally bought these carriage bolts thinking they would work on this, and they do to a degree, but they're very tight. The tolerance there's a little too tight. These are 3/8, so let me just step these down a little bit. In fact, I think these just recommend 1/4 inch. So mine goes up a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch, but not those. So we need fan side, so we don't need this yet. We'll put this over here. We don't need this. Here. We don't need this. I have another one of these to assemble because it was cheap enough. When I was redoing some work in the house, I just have a really open, chintzy, crappy little thing that I've had forever, and it works. But I was like, well, hell, as cheap as this was, I should just get another one. So that's what I did. So I got one of these in the house I need to build. So I don't need this little box. We're gonna put those there. These are screws to mount gear in. Put this over here. These are the keys for this. I have this little, I bought this on the road years ago. So in California, you have to apparently lock your ammunition and or magazines away from your weapon. Makes no damn sense. But I thought, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna use this to store keys. And there we go. But yeah, the California laws are a little interesting. I guess you have to call a timeout if you get attacked, so you can go unlock your weapon and then load your weapon, so you don't get murdered, or hope that magically 911 knows exactly where you're at, can warp somebody to your location instantly to prevent you from being murdered. I guess. I don't know. I don't know how it works. But this I will need eventually. If this is not, so this is the back. So I'm assembling these two right now. So I need this, and then the one I just put away. Okay. So I'll put this down over here. And I'll get this to put over here. And then this goes this way. And this, see, it's got a bow in it, I noticed, but I think it'll be okay once we start to put it together. Got a bow right there. So this goes like this way. Okay. Now the uprights, which would be, is that these guys? There's only one. So these are not those. Hang on just a gall darn minute. I don't have anything that looks like that. Not 4 of them anyways, unless there's no, it's just the 2. Unless there's more in there somewhere I'm just not seeing. Now I know I put all these in the same spot. So So according to that thing, there should be 4 of these. I'm only seeing 2. Did they fall down in here somewhere? No. I just don't know. Okay, that's interesting. Unless I'm grabbing the wrong things, which is entirely possible, because these don't resemble anything in the picture. And then I got these. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. It shows 2 screws in each one of these. There's only 1 spot for 1, but there's 2 here. So maybe let me check. There was a parts list. Here it is. H. It's height. It's not telling you. Glass door. Okay, mesh door. We don't have mesh door. We have glass door, glass door, glass door. So glass door, specifications, it's not parts. Frame, here we go, baby. We're showing front frame 2. That is what this looks like to me. Top cover. Yeah, I love the fact that it's got this. Okay, so this is here for sure. And I'm assuming this goes to the other side. But it seems like there should be 2 more pieces somewhere. But I am not seeing them. Not in there. I've looked at it 40 times. Not in there. I'll look over there where I found the other stuff, but back there? No. Interesting. Hey Dustin, James. I don't know if it was on my end, but it was really shuddering for a bit. It's all good now. You know, I wonder, because I see this thing turning yellow once in a while. I don't know. I'm not going to try to troubleshoot it. What I am going to do is try to find, it seems like there are 2 more pieces to this that I don't know what I did with them. I've got another one of these in the house. I haven't opened yet. Maybe I do that later. I gotta do the thing, but maybe I do that later and see. At least then I would know what those parts are really supposed to look like. Let me come back here and check just to make sure that it's not back here. And then I can itch my butt off screen I'm not seeing. This is one of those things that I would not have. I mean, I say this. I generally would not have walked away with those parts and put them somewhere completely different. I tried to keep all of this stuff in the same spot so I could find it, just like the hardware. I mean, the hardware got relocated down there just because it was in a little box. So I'm gonna look under there. No, no, not up here. No. I do not see those other parts, man. So back here one more time, grab my smoke. I'll look at my laptop, see if there's anything. Got to go, we're getting material, said Brian. Yeah, that's really weird. I mean, it could just simply be that, because the picture, the image is kind of really skewed in terms of what you're doing. And I'm sure that they make different models of this, so it just covers all of it. But so it shows those two on this end. So, and it shows the slots coming in this way. So this would go down here somewhere. Interesting. How would that go together? It shows it on the inside of the frame, but these are way too big to fit into this space. Okay, they fit there. That doesn't seem right. Yeah, this drawing is crazy. Yeah, I think, one, there's no way that's going to fit in that slot. Unless it's this guy here. There's no way it would fit in that slot. It's not big enough. It'll fit in this one. That makes sense. Call this the Chinese screwdriver. Okay, I'm not going to tighten anything down. Also, when I actually go to button this all up, everything's going to get some thread lock, simply because I don't want things vibrating loose that high up, because it's not like I'm going to be, you know, up there often to look at things. So I would rather put some thread lock on it and not worry about it. Also, try not to tighten anything too much right now. I have learned the hard way. That often I have to undo those things. Okay, this seems to be showing me these both going this way, so I don't know what's supposed to actually go there yet. The missing pieces. Okay. So we're done with this side for right now. Let's slide this over here. So in theory, you know, according to this wacky diagram, I'm going to go find another Allen key than this. This is poopy. It'll get me by. Okay, I'm gonna have to tighten this a little bit. Too much playing there. And I got to put the top on, or whatever, the side. This I need to figure out though. This here. So the way this is, well, even then, there's no way. Yeah, I'm not. Sometimes if you go through some of these, you'll see the missing link, but I am not. It feels like I forgot parts that are missing, but I don't know. So the dogs are yammering on about. They are idiots. Huh, is there something attached to these things that I'm not seeing? See, I would think, unless there definitely seems like there should be two more of these. This is a side, so let me attach the other piece for now. Maybe it will all make sense here momentarily. It really seems like there's two pieces missing though. Okay, I believe this is the cutouts that fit. These are the smaller cutouts. So this should go. Kind of like this. So I need 4 of these. See what I'm saying? Like these top corners, there's nothing there right now. Okay, I'm just going to set that for now, just to kind of get things lined up. okay. That. Back to this guy was a little tight. Didn't like that. There we go. Much better. That could just be paint. I don't know. It's a little tighter than I would expect, but it's fine. I'm not having to force it. Interesting. What is that not lining up? Little persuasion. There we go. Sometimes all you gotta do is hit it with a little persuasion. That's why no, I'm not. I wouldn't use it. I was just here. But yeah, a small rubber mallet would not be a bad idea, though. Sometimes just to give something a little kick into the right direction. Like that. Again, and these, there's no way those would fit in this space. That was not happening. So the only thing I can surmise by the pictures, because the pictures are showing something that appears to be fairly wide in those locations. But I don't have those. Now it is showing the rails going in, and it looks kind of like these that I don't think these are the right size, but you could run your mounting screws right in there. However, it typically waiting for live video signal. So a yellow apparently means a degradation in signal. I don't know what I can do to combat that. I wonder if that's a Starlink thing. Interesting. However, more like enterprise networking and compute racking, they have these clips that you put into these square holes, and then a screw that goes into that. My guess is because you can replace those, whereas if you screw up one of these holes, you're kind of up the creek. I don't know if there's a difference in sizing. It doesn't look like it. But yeah, you could just technically just use this side. And then these would go in here somewhere, somehow, some way, somehow. I don't know how these mount yet. I'll need to figure that out. Maybe they go like this. I don't know. It doesn't seem right, but oh. Or maybe they go like this. Yeah. I mean, I would expect them to go this way. Some way, somewhere. I don't know. I need to figure out the orientation of everything I'm looking at. I'm still kind of hung up on this whole parts missing piece. It's a interesting mystery to me. Yeah, I don't know. So what would this step 2 would be? Screwing these things together that I don't have. What? That makes no sense, man. Am I supposed to use this? I mean, it is the right size-ish. Well, yeah, if you take the bow out of that, that's going to be fun. But also, to support this direction, those aren't long enough. So I'm back to believing this is missing parts. The real question is did I do something with those missing parts, or did it just not ship with those parts? Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, so the way this is laid out, and it's showing this piece on top. So let's orient it this way. Nope, it's the other way. This on top. Okay, so we got this side and this side. This and this missing. And then it's showing what? How in the hell? How in the hell are you supposed to mount those things? I mean, I see what it's showing, but that makes no goddamn sense. It is showing it. So I would call this the front, right? Got the logo right there. I want to rotate this around, mostly because I know this is the back. So this is going to make more sense to me. Will this fit into that cutout? I think it does. See, it's showing this as it's showing the way it's showing this. It's got me looking for shit that does not exist. Okay. Okay, so this is why we don't like to torque things down. I need to be able to lift this out a little bit. Maybe just take this back one out. Let me swivel it up. Okay. All right. Now I feel better about that because I was like, the way this diagram, I'll have to show it to you as soon as I get this other screw off here. The way that diagram, I'll show you what I'm talking about though. It legit had me thinking I misplaced something or they didn't ship something. But this is making more sense now. And also, the directions kind of suck. That's fine. I mean, that's $150, right? Funny. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Is that where does that come into play here? So this will slip into that spot, kind of. Except for this is bowed. So I'm hoping that I can force this issue a little bit and it will help that bow. So I'm going to put a screw in there just to hold it. And I'm hoping by locking all this down in here, it will straighten up. There we go. Get one on the other side. It's sitting way high right now. Whoa, baby. What? I might have to get that persuader out again. That is not starting. There we go. little persuasion. Okay, so I'm going to tighten these up. They are a little tight, which is fine. And I'll show you that that documentation, and I'll show you what it was. This whole panel, right? Check this out. So, technically on step one, so that whole panel, it was showing these, right? But it doesn't show you the panel itself back there. So I was looking for 2 more of those to go back here. All right, tighten this one down, tighten it, but torque it down. And then I'll add the other screw to that, put those back in. I don't like using power tools for this stuff until I've got it set by hand. Just to, you know, if you cross thread something, you're going to be in deep doo-doo, especially on these cheaper things. To fix those is going to be a little tricky. So this seems like it needs to come off a little bit. That doesn't want to start. So to go along with cheap, I noticed this is, it's got some dents and some dings in it. Like I said, it was bowed right there. I just needed to hold the things, right? So I'm not too worried about, again, 150 bucks, man. A quality one of these is probably 600 bucks. If not more. I'm not torquing these down too much, but I am gonna just trying to see if it'll pull that bow out a little bit. This one I'm gonna back right there. Felt like it was cross-threading a little bit. Just a little too much resistance. Okay, there it goes. It could have just been a burr or something, or some dirt, but I don't want to go crazy. So all I'm going to do later is I'll back these out to a little bit more than this, and put some thread lock in there. Usually what I do is I'll squirt it down into the nut or the hole. If I can't gauge how far the screws actually, you know, one, there's no point to cover the whole screw in thread lock if the whole screw isn't making contact with what it's going through, then it's just, you're just wasting thread lock, and it gets kind of messy. Like that's, and I'm not putting a lot of torque on these. Maybe 2 screws for that. This might be, short of adding the rails, this might be pretty much done. That was easier than I thought. I spent more time worried about parts that didn't actually exist. Now that I know that, though, the one in the house will go much quicker. And then put this back on. This will take a good fan. I don't know what size that is. Like a, I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I have another one of these fans. I think I do somewhere in the house. If I do, I'm gonna go ahead and install it now. Be far easier to put that in there now. And all they do is they're there to, just like your computer, right? They're there to exhaust heat build up inside of this. And being that my shop is not climate controlled, it does get hot in here in the summertime. So having some fans to push that hot air out of this cabinet will be good. And if I don't have another one of these, I'll just order one. They're cheap enough online. This one's got a little power thingy. Now I got to figure out how these. I know how they're supposed to go. Right, this is the front. So in my brain, it should go like that. Something like that. Something like that. You guys can't see any of this. I'm not sure this is even correct, to be honest. Shows. What is? Are these all that hold that in there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That doesn't make no sense. You only get 4 of these screws. How the hell do the other ones lock in? I've got 4 more screws. Okay, that is a little concerning. Because you got 4 of these. I guess if you don't need them in the back, so let me make sure that these are all the same. Okay. I don't need these in the back. You normally don't need the back ones unless you're doing really long runs. Though it's nice to have if you need them, because then you could mount stuff the other way on the back side. But I don't think that's needed here. So what's 0301? That's 10. There's 10. This is the same. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel better about that already. Now, I'm going to put these over here for right now. You know what? I'm going to put these back in here. I don't need them right now. Those regular screws? Yes. Some bitch. Now I gotta go get a screwdriver. Screwdriver. Well, I know where one is. I just don't think it's a good one for this. I guess I'll try it. I ain't screwed. Well, poop sticks. Screwdriver and I'll be right back. Damn thing making me go get stuff. That's a soldering iron, Johnny. Not a screwdriver. Next screwdriver, Johnny Norman. Tried to avoid going to a spot I didn't really want to have to go to, but it looks like that's where I'm headed. Just to get a damn screwdriver. Alright. I'm not, well, I'm technically not dressed appropriately to be in the shop, period. But even more so to go back into that area, you know, I'm wearing these, I'm wearing my safety Crocs, They don't have they do have openings, but not all the openings that typical Crocs have. So they're my safety Crocs. Let me check these screws and make sure that this is going to be an appropriately sized screwdriver. Because, you know, clearly, really, they don't tell you what size screwdriver you should be using. So does anybody really follow that kind of stuff anymore? So that looks fine. Good engagement. So now I need to it shows this going there and going there. Okay. Turn off. Would be this way. Right? I mean, these spots make sense, but that doesn't make no damn sense. It would have to be that, but that makes no sense. Are there some on the other side? So this should mount. So this is 12, right? So you should mount in here so that you can mount your gear in there. So this is being the front, so when you open the cabinet, you'd want to see your stuff, right? So, but I would like it to be, I would prefer that it was recessed back a little bit, but if it can't be that way, that is fine. See, I have these spots here, just where I thought this would go. And there's corresponding up here. So yeah, you can recess it back. Except it should be this way. Okay. I just don't know if that's enough. I'm going to set it back here. And hopefully that is enough room in either direction. What? These are way too... What is this supposed to be screwed into? This makes more sense to me, and they line up just fine. But they're not... Yeah, I don't know. So, there we go. I'm beeping. Why am I beeping? Missed call from, this is your propane supplier. No, actually, Ferrellgas, you are not my propane supplier anymore. I got tired of your bullshit. So take that, suckers. I'm wondering. This way. That going in? Yeah, okay. Now, what I don't know is, will, where I've got this right now, be enough room in the front with the door on. I don't know. There it goes. So before I get too crazy with this, I need to check that. I'm going to put the door on real quick. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be enough room. The door is not recessed back enough for that to make sense. I want the door to open it So I thought there was 7 hours of battery. Turns out that is not true at all. And this is going to be fun because, damn it. Okay, back in action. So I was looking at how much life the what is it, the oh, you know, the doodad. I was looking at how much life the SD card had, and I thought that was battery life. That is not the case. The other problem was I can't run power for the camera because I thought switching to this would be a lot easier on the HDMI. Plus it's a rod angle and it's a lighter weight. It's got a little bit of the stress relief on it that I intentionally pulled out. But with this plugged in, I can't plug the USB power in. Fantastic, right? So instead of a right angle, I need a left angle, apparently. Or something. Anyways, so that's what these are installed. Now the side panels, which I don't really need to install right now, but I'm gonna, because I'm curious to see how they fit. Not to mention, I have some leftover screws. That right there is what I was curious about. Is there a slot there? There is down here, which is the other side, right? Chinese screwdriver. That's what I call it. They're far more agile at that than I am. Especially on these shorties. But this is mostly together. I need to figure out where those small screws go. I mean, clearly they go somewhere. There's 4 of them. So again, I'm just giving these the old. Right. What I'll do later is come back around and Loctite all of them into place. Just so I don't have to worry about them vibrating loose later. Not that they'll be getting a lot of vibration up there, but better safe than sorry. A little bit will go a long ways. It won't take long to back these off and just add a little bit of thread lock to them. But yeah, this will got a little knockout there to run cables through. Should that be a thing that you want to do, I could, and I probably will, add those other 2 rails on the inside here facing this way. And the reason being is what I think I'm going to do here, if I end up knocking that out, is I'm going to 3D print a bezel that goes in there, and then have like the little hairy brush pass-throughs, just small enough to allow network cables and or power cables to run through. There's also this on the bottom, these pop outs, and some on the top that I'll probably use. I don't know if I'm going to knock out that side, because I think getting to it's going to be a pain in the butt. But these, here, I'll show it to you. These, that's technically the bottom, but I have some up on top. So what I'll probably do is remove those, 3D print a better, because these kind of suck, 3D print a better bezel insert for these, and I will have the ones that I print have 2 holes to accept probably 3/4 inch conduit. So I could technically just stub out a little piece of 3/4 inch conduit at the top and then route my wires down through that, and then do a similar thing down here on the bottom and route a power cable out of it that way. Because this will need power. I'm going to get a UPS for this, and there will be a UPS in here that, oh, rack thing. I've got one. I'll go grab it. Let me put this on real quick. Actually, you know what? I'll go grab those other things. I'm going to put these other rails in, because I feel like with these rails in the back, even if I weren't using them, would be nice just for the additional support. So let me come back over here and grab that other doodah. Hopefully I don't have to put the damn mounting tabs on this. It's kind of annoying. Not a big deal, but this is a basically a power strip, rack mountable power strip. There's nothing fancy about this. I mean, think of it nothing more than a normal power strip that you would typically use on the ground or at your workbench. The only difference is the rack mountable. This does have a surge protector built into it, so it's nothing super fancy. Just a little bit of protection for your gear. I've used these for my sound equipment for a long time. You can get conditioners that will condition the sound, or not the sound, but the power. It will provide conditioning, power conditioning, to kind of help regulate the power being output. So it's not doing crazy, especially if you're using like tube amps and things like that. It could be very susceptible to wonky power. So it's really handy to have something like this in place, but also good for your networking gear. Plus, it helps with power distribution in a big way. So, bottom, right, top. I don't know. For this, you can go wrong in either position. Because I'm going to have UPS, I'll put it on the bottom, and I'll probably put this up top. And ideally, what I'm going to do is run this to the UPS, and then everything else is powered here. So you've got front power, and then you got power in the back. Most of the things will be powered from the back, but I have the options. So all I'm going to do is, I'm not even mounting it, I'm just checking. Hey, does this stuff, but I'm going to do the same on the back end that I did up here. I'm going to mount these up there. Okay. And I'm going to use the very, very back. I don't necessarily think I'm going to mount anything to this, but if I do, I've got the option. And all the gear would go between the rails, so it will not get in the way. The other thing I could do is use this poor man cable management. You know what? I'm looking at this though. It's facing me. I think I'm going to turn it around in case I do want to put something in the back. Well, you know, nah. It would be a pain in the ass to mount anything back there the way this is set up. Nah, this is purely for support. Only reason I'm putting these in here. at this point. Okay. That all worked down. Panel for that. I'll tell you, the fact that you can remove these panels, the side panels, is kind of handy, because sometimes you can't get back to where you want to be able to remove this and then be able to get in here. That's kind of handy. I'll dig it. I didn't even realize this did that when I ordered this. Okay. Now, two more of these. Make sure everything's facing the same direction. Nothing like putting this crap together and you realize you got like that one thing facing the wrong way. And it's like, so like I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, am I doing it again? These are out, which is fine. Just to make. Put this one down. These, I'm not worried about these coming loose. They're pretty tight, but there's a lot of, I mean, they're going through quite a bit there. So that, just those alone have added a lot of stability to this. Back in place. Go. Nice thing is I can pull these off when I'm mounting this and then add these back. Make it, one, a lot easier to handle, but two, just that much lighter. So I'm going to put, so here's those screw, or so these, I used to have a tool for this. It's not necessarily needed now, but you would, this is not how you would do this, but with a longer screw in there, you can drop these in place and it will set that. You can't see this. You would want to go typically the other way, behind the thing. So anyways, with a longer screw, I might look and see if I've got one. So what you can do with a longer screw, it allows you to get these in there and then click it in place, and then you can back it out. And I used to have a tool actually that did that when I worked and did a lot of data center stuff. This is 20 plus years ago. But it was like a screwdriver, really, and it was just threaded on one end, and it wasn't this long. If I recall, it was about half this size, but it was threaded on one end, and you could run this into those little blocks and then push it in, click it, and then just back it off. So these would normally go in behind this way. These ones are, well, it doesn't matter how loose they fit in the holes, but these ones are fairly loose. I've had some that were like super tight, and trying to get those damn things to go, you needed that tool. there and there. I guess you would say backwards. He was putting them in this way. And he was like, no, no, no. They need to go the other way. And I was like, but there's nothing to prevent those from popping out. So if you put them behind the rail, right? So think about it. If you put this in the front and it clicks in, right? So this clicks in and you run your screws through here, there's nothing that keeps this where it's at. If you run it in behind it, when you run your screw in, it's pulling this in with it, so it can't go anywhere. I tried to explain that to that guy, but he wouldn't. He'd been doing it 30 years. I know what I'm doing. I'm like, dude, 30 years ago, you were fucking with mainframes. So, no. So like in this case, that one's a little stiff. So I'm just going to push it in with my screwdriver here, if I can. And I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, number 4. Yeah, make sure I'm in the right spot. You can, if you can get these started, a lot of times they, you can pull them in. But yeah, that little tool I had, it would be handy right about now. If you're gonna only use 2 screws to hold your network gear in, I don't recommend that. But if you're going to, I always do bottom and a top. Don't do 2 tops and 2 bottoms. But I just put the damn 2 other screws in. So it's not that big a deal. So I've got this, and I offset this to allow for space for the fans. Because you know, it's all about the fans, right? Right, guys? It's all about the fans. So in 1U, some people think that's 2 slots, it's 3. So if you're putting these in, preloading these, keep that in mind. Where I bought, I used to have hundreds of these things. And when I sold I used to have a cabinet, a networking cabinet, big one, server rack. And when I sold all that gear, I think I gave away all the mounting hardware too. Because, you know, I'm a forward thinker that way. I still have some of this stuff laying around somewhere, but not in bulk like I used to have. Like, I probably had 1,000 of these things. Just getting them all started, and then I'll torque these down once I get this in position. There we go. And I'm not fussy. Some guys are super fussy about all of that. I don't care, as long as it's in there. And I tighten them up like the crisscross pattern. There's no need to. It's a habit, I guess. There's real no need to. In fact, we would start these and then leave them and then use a, actually on the inserts, on these, we would go straight to a drill or whatever, and just boom. Because you could replace these easily. So we didn't care if we stripped them out, as dumb as that was. Now I've got these little tiny screws I got to figure out what to do with, but I'll show you what that looks like installed. It won't stay installed. No, that's how it looks right now. I don't know how well you can see that. Yeah. So, and power here. So if I need front power for anything, I can. But there's also power in the back that I will, that I can get to right here. Hello. That I can get to the back right here from the side panel. So I'll install. There will be a switch here. So you figure, I like to leave a space in some of these. So you figure to here, then they'll space it. And then another one. So down here is a 3U. So, right, I don't even think I think it's a 2. Might be a 3. So somewhere in this range, the UPS will live. And then Y. One switch is going to be dedicated purely to surveillance cameras that I have installed around, and run them to this because one, it's detached from the house. Two, there's some in the house that was straight in the house there too. It's kind of divvied up, but like in theory, if we were invaded, home invasion type thing, right? They might be able to get rid of some of the cameras. They won't be able to get rid of all of the cameras, and all of this stuff gets backed up to the cloud anyways. So if somebody came here to try to murder me or steal from me, I got it on video, and then I have the ability to configure movement detection or whatever. So when it detects movement or detects a person, just keep that in mind. I'm recording your ass. So yeah, I have currently one Wi-Fi access point in the shop. There's going to be 2 eventually. Not because I need it, it's just because I have a spare and I don't know what else to do with it. So figure I'll split it up within the shop. Shop will have plenty coverage in here. Never have to worry about coverage inside the shop. Backup, right? If one dies, craps to bed. They're all power over Ethernet. They don't need power run to them. I've got a switch back there that handles the power over Ethernet, and then any other weird things I decide to run, I can just, it will go into this cabinet. Like my tunes, I'm thinking about ordering a new my way that I quote unquote need, even though I don't, but like having. So anyways, so there's that. I'm going to put the doors. There, found it. Where you at? Right there in the corner. This corner. Okay. How does this run without that washer? Seems fine. Got to lift up a little bit, it looks like. Which is fine. So there we have it. I'll find that washer later, throw it on there. Yeah. So that's fine. It seems to be plenty good enough to make the engagement it needs to make. The only thing I might do is put some magnets. No, maybe. We'll see. Not a lot of room for that. Okay. So, but yeah, this will typically be locked anyways. But yeah, I didn't opt for the glass. I just realized they made a mesh one, but honestly, this will probably help keep crap out of there. I can already see, again, this is going to be 10 feet in the air. So if you notice imperfections, you probably just go fuck yourself. Because It's gonna be 10 feet in the air. It's not like something I'm looking at. If this is what you're focused on when you come into my shop, you got issues. So the only thing I don't like, really, and I may do something about, there's not really a handle to open this, which is fine. Now I'm gonna look at this real quick before I pull the plug on this stream, because I do have other things I'd like to do today, most of this kind of crap. But there are 4 little tiny screws right here, and I've yet to figure out what the shit they go to. It's not those. It shows it right there. So it's a side panel thing. Let me look. So it's showing it right down in here. What? That makes no goddamn sense. In here. Is it the front? So if I'm looking at it, fans this way, it'd be in this corner, in the top and the bottom, right on the edge of that lip. Yeah, I don't see it though. Huh. Mm-mm. I mean, unless they're saying that you should have used these, but these did not work there. Yeah, those did not work there. Pull this door off. Look how far that opens up. Nice. I mean, it's showing. But, oh, I see right there. And right there. Let me try one. It's way up here. Okay, I feel better about that. Is it down there? Yep. It's just the orientation of the picture. It makes some of this stuff look like it's in places it's actually not. And you would think it's on both sides, but it is not. So these do not, I can't tell if I'm stripping it or not, so good enough. So yeah. There's a grounding lug here and one on the bottom, which is strange to have it on the door, I guess. I would rather see it in the back. And what I'll probably do is add something back there to ground it to the frame, the whole thing. But I mean, maybe that's good enough, and I can run the ground. You got to think you got, you know, a lot of electrical equipment in this thing, and it's steel, so you would be much more safer off to have this grounded. You come up here and if something shorts out,
You know, that way you're not electrocuting yourself. Now, I ain't no electrician. I barely understand how it works. It's like ICP and magnets. Robbing electrical stuffs. Oh, magical shit happens, and it makes the lights come on. Makes me happy. So, there's my little rubber washer thing. Let's see if I can get the other one. Probably gonna need that to get to it. No, it's way the hell back there. Really? Holy shit. Really? Yeah, it's like I hit the ground and just went for a ride. Good Lord. I'm gonna need a flashlight. I can kind of see it, but not really. Oh, all right. Where is my flashlight? It should be right here. But of course it's not. Flashlight, where are you? I'm not gonna worry about it right now. I got one in the house I can bring out. How are we doing? Are we still on? Yeah. So anyways, there we have it. I'm gonna put this back down for now. Because I don't need, well, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it on there for right now. Okay. So there's room for minor critters to get up in here, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Is it like the greatest? No. I would not, if I was running a data center, this would not be in my data center. But it'll do all the things I need it to do. I don't know what we got here. And, yeah, anyways, I'm gonna put that with that. This is gonna get mounted. Pull all the stuff off that I don't need. Put it back on for right now. There we go. And then I'll print bezels for that. I will likely leave this paperwork in there, fold it up, and then tape it to the inside somewhere, just so it's with it. But yeah, nothing to it but to do it, right? I do have to go back inside and do work-related stuff because people pay me money to do stuff. So I might as well, oh no, might as well go in and do that. Plus I need to get my lunch going, which means DoorDash. So later, I expect to be forging, and I'm going to look at this stream quality thing. I have a sneaking suspicion I know what it is, and I think it's Starlink, and it's the upload to Starlink. So I'm going to switch that connectivity back to failover mode, and next time I try it, I want to see if it does the same thing. Otherwise, it's that little Wi-Fi bridge thing that I bought, and it's just 20 bucks, so it's probably just duty. So it's one of those two things. So I just want to rule it out. Yeah, and that make my life a lot easier. There's things about that little Wi-Fi adapter thing I don't like already, but if it's not the problem, then there's no point in